Spend enough time around a 2-year-old and you will eventually find yourself staring down a full-blown meltdown. The screaming, the red face, the complete collapse on the grocery store floor. Traditional parenting advice suggests the best response is to simply ignore it. The logic is that the child is seeking attention, and intervening only rewards bad behavior. Developmental psychology, however, reframes this behavior as a biological bid for connection. A child thrashed out on the floor is communicating that their nervous system has reached a total, overwhelming state of overstimulation. This moment is a critical intersection of attachment theory. Every time a parent responds to this distress, they are actively participating in the way the child's brain wires itself to manage stress and relationships. Dismissing this distress as a behavioral choice leaves a toddler stranded with an emotional load they lack the neurological equipment to process alone. To understand why a toddler lacks that equipment, we have to look back at infancy. Newborns enter the world with zero biological ability to self-soothe. They cannot distract themselves or move away from things that upset them. In the early 1970s, pioneering researchers like Barry Brazelton mapped the early states of infant arousal. They identified a specific set of precursor emotions that all babies use to navigate the world. Long before an infant can feel complex emotions like pride or guilt, they operate on the basic wavelengths of pleasure and distress. Crying is their primary tool for communicating an absolute physical or emotional need. Because infants are physically incapable of lowering their own arousal, they rely on dyadic regulation. The caregiver acts as an external regulator, using calm touch, rocking, or singing to slow the infant's heart rate and breathing. During that first year, a parent's physical proximity functions as the actual external regulatory system for the infant's developing nervous system. These mechanics are visible in clinical settings designed to study how early bonds form. In the still face experiment, researchers saw infants become visibly distressed when a caregiver suddenly stopped responding to their cues. Within seconds of the adult adopting a flat, silent expression, the infant begins thrashing and calling out to regain that regulatory anchor. Consistent responses build an internal working model. The brain learns the world is safe because connection bids are met. If responses are inconsistent, the loop breaks. The brain categorizes the world as unpredictable, leading to insecure attachment patterns. Reliable facial expressions and prompt responses provide the architectural blueprint for a child's lifelong social and emotional health. As infants grow into toddlers, their emotional signaling becomes far more complex. It's no longer just about a hungry cry. It's about navigating a world they can suddenly walk and talk in. At this stage, it becomes vital to distinguish between a physical need and a sensory overload. Overstimulated toddlers show specific warning signs, like spacing out, stiffening their muscles, or looking away to disengage. Toddlers also begin to use escape behaviors. An overwhelmed 2-year-old might run to a corner or throw objects, a desperate attempt to exit a situation that has become too intense. When a toddler screams no or fights against getting dressed, they are attempting a clumsy, frustrated exercise in personal autonomy. By learning to read these nonverbal cues, caregivers can treat the root cause of the distress. This level of attunement can prevent meltdowns before they escalate into an uncontrollable crisis. One practical tool for managing this need for control is the false choice. Asking a toddler if they'd like to put on their left or right sock first satisfies their need for autonomy and often diffuses a power struggle immediately. Parents can also help through emotional labeling. Explicitly stating, "I see you're sad because your brother left for school," validates the child's internal state and helps them build the vocabulary they'll need to understand themselves. Eventually, these external soothing techniques are internalized as intrapersonal regulation. The child learns to use the tools their parents modeled to calm their own heart rate and breathing. This leads to the ultimate developmental goal, secure attachment. These children explore the world with confidence because they know they have a reliable, safe base to return to when things get difficult. Sensitive attunement recognizes that attention is a fundamental requirement for growth, the essential psychological fuel that determines the trajectory of a child's life.